I don't know if you guys can tell, but I think the party's about to end. Man, that could have ended really bad. Really, really, really bad. Well, what's up, guys? It's Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and welcome back to another wet, soggy adventure in southern Oklahoma. So, I'm back out on my neighbor's property that we leased a few months ago, and you guys have seen us do a lot of work here. This is the Kirby place. We got her signed up on the NRCS cedar tree removal program to help clean up this property. And just a couple months ago, where I'm standing, you couldn't walk through here. It was so overgrown with cedar and elm and things, and you guys have seen the videos probably by now, but like I can see all the way to that timber over there, and before I could barely walk through there. So the program is has hit the brakes. So April 28th was when we had our big tornado come through our area, and that kind of halted all work for sure, at least for a couple weeks. But the weather has not cooperated. We haven't been able to really do anything. I don't want to get out here with heavy equipment and, you know, mess up the property and just make a muddy mess. So we've kind of held off, but we've also hit another hiccup. We got halted by the federal government. Let's just say that. I'll get to that in a minute. But today I'm going to try to burn some of these big cedar piles, these big brush piles. It has rained off and on for the last several days. The humidity right now is at like 97%. Overcast, light winds, perfect day to burn some brush piles. And there's probably 5 or 6 that need to be burned. I don't know if I'll get it all done today or not, but see, there's one back there that needs to be burned. And these cedars have been sitting here stacked dead for, what, a couple months now. So they should go up in flames pretty well. And I kind of want to get rid of some of these before our actual controlled burn, because the NRCS program that we're on, we've got work in 2024, work scheduled for 2025, and then plan to burn the entire unit of like 80 something acres in the fall, like a late summer, early fall 26, but hopefully if we can get everything done, 25. But I don't know that I want to burn these piles in like August, September-ish time frame when it's hot and dry. I think it'd be safer and better to get rid of some of this now. And so while everything's wet and muddy, there is no chance. There's almost zero, I'm not going to say zero completely, but almost zero risk of a wildfire today, because everything is green, everything is wet, everything is muddy, and there's nothing that's going to burn except a dead cedar tree right now. So before I go wild and crazy and light everything on fire, I'm going to kind of explain what we're doing. It's a perfect time of year to burn these cedar piles, and everything is green. There's, like I said earlier, there's almost no chance of a wildfire. It is very green. The ground is very saturated with water and 97% humidity. So our fire danger today is minimal. So we're gonna light these up with a drip torch. It's a mixture of 3 parts diesel, 1 part gasoline, and this little loop in here, when you can dump fuel out, you'll light the tip on fire, and you can basically just pour fuel out and ignite everything. So I'm going to show you guys, the grass will not burn right now. There's just no way. So I'm not really concerned at all about these brush piles getting out. All right, torch is ignited. You just dump fuel out. You guys have seen me use this back during the winter when I was doing controlled burns and stuff, but that's got gasoline and diesel on the ground. The grass will not burn, so we're pretty safe today. Burned a little bit of diesel up that I poured out to light my thing, so other than that, it's not going anywhere. So these dead cedar trees will absolutely go up like gasoline if they're dried out enough. I may not even need fuel to start them, but it rained yesterday for several hours, plus, like I said, 97% humidity. If it was a dry day, I have no doubt, wow, I have no doubt that I could start these without the use of any fuel at all. Might not work today though. just burned out. So here's what I'm gonna do. Pour a little fuel on the ground, on those needles, and then those will ignite, and I can light my torch. Woo! Got a little gas in it. A little hot gas mixture. Okay, that'll be enough to get my torch going. And we just pour fuel. Like I said, if it was a dry day, you could light this entire brush pile with one match. So it's going to take a little bit of heat to get those needles heated up, since they are so completely saturated right now. But we'll see what we can do. It might actually be too humid today to get these to burn, but you want to be safe, and today's about as safe a day as it gets. Let's go try over here. Well, I tried first on the back side, the downwind side, but without any wind blowing on it, everything was too moist, and you guys saw the difference. I come around to the upwind side. That's the south. Wind's coming from the south, which is perfect because the closest roadway is that direction, so it's going to blow all of our smoke to the north, which is several miles to the next roadway that direction. So the upwind side had been, exposed to wind all day. I say all day. I mean, it is only 9:30 in the morning, but the upwind side was much drier and it just went up fast. So it's going to take a long time to burn all these piles out. There's another giant one over there, but I'll let them burn all day today, and then we can come back after they burn down and re-push them, repile them, and burn them again. So earlier in the video, I mentioned that we kind of got shut down by the federal government, and I'm not kidding at all. So this is a program through the NRCS that's federally funded, and with the federal government, there's always red tape and blah blah blah. So we got approved for this project. Everything was good to go. Got it ready. So they said we could start working, and then a couple months later, they're like, "Oh, hey." Hold up, don't do much right now. We've got to wait on a cultural historical burial document. Basically a document that has to be done through somebody. It says there's no old Native American burial grounds or historic cemeteries on the property. So we can still work technically, but we can't disturb the soil. So we're not supposed to use the bulldozer to push over big trees and stuff. So we can still use the skid steer, still get some work done. But all of the phase 2, the 2025 areas are heavy cover that we're planning on using the bulldozer for pretty much all of it is on hold for maybe 4 to 6 months. We're not sure yet. So hopefully we'll be able to continue sooner than we expected. All right, that pile's actually burning a lot slower than I expected, but it is, the wind's pushing it through the pile, it's carrying, it's burning good. So we'll move on to pile number 2, see what we can get going. I bet you that's all it's going to take on this one. Let it do its thing and go from there. About maybe 3/4 of a cup of gas and diesel, just enough to get it ignited, and it takes off. There's not many things in this world that make me more happy than seeing a cedar tree burn up. I mean, maybe the disc mulcher mulching one to the ground, I do enjoy that. But cedar trees are a very invasive species of tree that will absolutely take over a farm, take over a piece of property. Just look around now at what this place looks like versus what it looked like before when all the cedar was on it. There was almost no grass, no habitat for wildlife or anything. I mean, yes, there's a few birds that might land in a cedar tree, but overall there's no food. They absorb all the moisture out of the ground, they soak up all the water. And now we can get back to much healthier native pasture. And no, I'm not running cattle on this property or anything. We really honestly leased it for deer hunting and content, a place to use all of our equipment, to showcase different pieces of equipment like the tree reaper and the disc mulcher and things like that. I've got a few other things in the works, maybe some attachments for the excavator coming, but really the deer hunting, this place should be 100 times better than it was last year because it was overgrazed, covered in weeds, and covered in cedar. And okay, that just got real. It got hot. I've got to move back. So when we pushed a lot of these piles up, a lot of you were curious, had questions as to why we didn't push them out into just wide open empty pasture. Why'd we push them into other trees? Because it's gonna, when we burn those, it'll kill the other trees. Well, honestly, it was strategic, really. We pushed some of these piles into open areas, but some of them we pushed into areas like this where we want to get rid of a lot of those elm trees, and this fire will absolutely kill a lot of those, and that's the goal. Some of this pile isn't going to burn today. There's no way I'm going to be able to get these smaller areas like this, but we can get the big portions done, get the big giant piles burning, and then come back with the bulldozer and push up some of this other smaller piles that are still too big to push with the skid steer. So that other side is burning hot. It got hot fast. So you can see there's a lot of elm trees in here. There's no hardwood species in there that we really wanted to keep, nothing desirable. So mostly all elm and just brushy areas. So it is very muddy and wet out here though. All right, that one seems to be taking pretty good care of itself. It's getting hot, man. You gotta get a long ways away from those dead cedar trees when they're burning, because they can sure put off some heat. But burning them now while everything's green and wet will completely, dramatically reduce a lot of the fire danger when we do a burn that's during a growing season, but hotter, drier time. And this is just a lot safer. We don't have to worry about flying embers or anything. With 97% 90% humidity, if an ember does go up, there's so much moisture in the air, it's going to burn out quickly. And if it lands on the ground, it's just going to go out. So it's a big fire. It's it's a scary thing to do by yourself for sure. But when the conditions are right, it's really not a big danger. On to pile number 3. See if we can get it to go. First 2 took off like crazy. They're doing good now. That's all it takes. Barely any fuel at all. I may light this one in a couple places though. Whew. Let's get her started over here too. Alrighty, got that one burning in a couple places. It's down a little bit lower, more sheltered from the wind, I guess. It's not one to go as quick and fast, but we'll give it a few minutes, see what it does. Go on to the next one. There's pile number 1. Most of the cedar needles that burn up were down to logs and limbs and actual wood, so flames are a lot lower. This one over here is still cooking pretty hot. This was number 2. It's burning up pretty well. You can see it's torched all the leaves off of that elm tree, or all those elm trees. And it'll get hot enough kill those pretty easily, and then we can repile around them, restack, and burn them down. So when those green leaves torch, man, it takes a while to get them hot and get enough heat to burn them, but then they kind of just explode real fast. I noticed while I was lighting that last pile, there were a couple big, huge bursts of flames that went up, but last about 5 seconds and it's done. Is it gonna go? I think it's gonna try. Yeah, we got a little burst of wind. Get a little breeze blowing through those cedar needles and they'll take off. Took a minute to get that one burning, but once it took off good. So went around and lit the other side, went around and lit another one. I think I'm up to 5 or 6 brush piles burning now, so all doing great. I know a lot of folks are scared of fire, and Smokey the Bear did a great job in the 80s and 90s when I was a kid of telling us we had to prevent forest fires, which is not wrong, but fire is a very useful tool, a very good tool at managing the landscape, managing a piece of property. And burning these cedar piles, if you do it right, like I said, can be very safe and a very effective way to get rid of a problem. And I think today, the conditions, everything is just perfect for what our intended purpose is. We could have come back, when we do our big burn, and whenever that is, when we burn all 80 acres, these piles are so far into the center of this piece of property that it would have been safe. It wasn't going to be an unsafe burn, but we would have had cedar that had been setting for a year, maybe 2 years. We'd have had flames 100 feet in the air. So today is a very safe burn. All right then, I just about had a heart attack. Holy moly. I went to, I lit the brush pile over there, and I came over here to light it. Anybody notice anything? My heart's beating so fast. That's a rattlesnake. I reached up there to light this brush pile and had my hand less than a foot from that rattlesnake. He's a little angry now. Man, that could have ended really bad. Really, really, really bad. Guys, I'm not even kidding. I reached about right here with my lighter trying to light some cedar needles on fire, and he was laying right there waiting on his next meal. A rattlesnake. Man, that was almost a really bad day. I do want to get him out of here. I don't want to kill this guy. I'm not a fan of rattlesnakes. Nobody likes a rattlesnake, I don't think. But I'm not just going to torch him. I mean, at least give him a fighting chance. Get him out here where he has a chance to survive. But fire's coming for you, buddy. You're going to want to come out of there. He is not happy now. If I'm going to get him out, I'm going to need a bigger stick, though. All right, buddy. Let's see if we can get you out of there. It's for your best interest. Don't go into the pile. You're not going to want to do that. Listen, man. You should come out of there. It's going to get a little bit toasty. I'm not playing around. It's been 3 or 4 minutes. My heart rate is still over 100. My heart rate should be in the high 70s, low 80s. But that guy, whew, got my heart rate up. So I gave him every option to come out. If he goes back farther into the brush pile, that's on him. Listen, it's on him. Listen, y'all, I am not the least bit scared of snakes. A rattlesnake, on the other hand, that guy can hurt you. That guy is... rattlesnake venom is nothing to play with. They will get you. And that was close. Like, very close. Had it been a bright, sunshiny day and he wasn't moving a little slow, I was well within striking distance. It might not have ended so well. You saw when I poked at him with the stick a couple times, he was slow to move. So probably not the only one out here. We don't see very many rattlesnakes around our house, but we're, I don't know. I'm close to a half a mile from my house, and across the road, it goes into some rock hills, and they see a lot of rattlesnakes over there. We get a few timber rattlers, which is probably what that one was, I'm pretty sure. I'm just glad he was a little lethargic and moving slow this morning. if you guys can tell, but I think the party's about to end. I've been reigniting a few places that weren't burning as well, but it's getting really dark out here, and I just got a notification on my phone that there's a severe thunderstorm on the way, which I'm not complaining about. Don't get me wrong, not complaining about rain. We had like a 15% chance most of the morning, then it was supposed to go up to like a 40% chance in the evening. It is 10 afternoon right now, 12:10, and looks like we're fixing to get dumped on pretty good. A little bit of rain won't hurt these brush piles burning. They'll keep burning. They've got enough heat in them. It's not going to put them out. It would take several inches of rain to really put those out. But it will slow them down some. So it's starting to rain now. Clouds are looking interesting for sure. So this was the first brush pile. As you can see, we'll be able to come back either with a bulldozer or skid steer after this burns down and repile, restack, and finish burning it up. But it's still going to burn for, a couple days probably. How well you guys can see it, but the rain's here. Party's over, fun's over for now. I'm not gonna sit out here like a silly person and get rained on. So I'm gonna check everything one more time, go to the house and wait for a break in the rain. It's not like my fires are gonna go anywhere with the fire protection system turned on right now. Well, it's definitely raining harder now. I almost made it back to the house in time. Well, the rain finally cleared out a couple hours ago. It's now 6 o'clock. Got supper on the grill. It's gonna be good. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Jalapeno chicken poppers. Like jalapeno poppers, but with chicken. I use some chicken breast, some boneless thighs. Oh, corn on the cob. This is gonna be good. So let's check on some brush piles. The rain really slowed things down, and as you can see by the creek, it rained a lot, and some of our brush piles I feel like burned pretty well. Others not so much, but I wasn't expecting 100% burn up. That was never really even the goal today. I lit this one on the backside while it was raining, and it burned a little bit there. It's still burning. These things are going to smolder for days, but as you can see, we probably got at least an inch of rain today, maybe a little bit more. burnt this whole side of this pile and a strip all the way through. There's quite a bit that didn't burn there, but I would say we probably burned, I don't know, close to 40% of this pile. So not too bad. Most of the cedar that had needles on it burned. So that's the main goal. There's some over here that, you know, obviously wasn't packed near enough and not in there tight enough. I knew it wasn't going to burn. I didn't even light it over here, so that's okay. Well, I'm not disappointed in what we accomplished today. It was a perfect day for burning these piles. I wish that little rainstorm would have held off. I think we'd have got quite a bit more to burn. Obviously, the rain did not put the piles completely out, but it slowed them down tremendously. So they will smolder for days now, but that's okay because it's a muddy, soupy, wet mess. And there is nowhere for any fire to go, so I really don't need to babysit these things. It's, like I said earlier, it's after 6 now, so they've been burning since 9 o'clock this morning. Some burned really, really well, some not so much, but it's just one step in the process. And we're inching closer with every little step, I guess. There's no way to get out here with heavy equipment right now, so at least we're making progress on something. This one didn't do quite as well. I burned a pretty good chunk of it right here. Over on this side was where that rattlesnake friend of ours was. And I don't know if he made it out or not. If he did, that's on him. If he didn't, well, that's too bad. But that was a close call today for sure. And after watching all the video, going back and watching everything, I can kind of understand why that rattlesnake didn't strike at me when I reached in there and why he was so slow to move and kind of lethargic, which it was a little cooler this morning. The sun wasn't out, and they're a cold-blooded reptile, so they move a little slower. But you can see his eyes were kind of hazy looking, almost like fogged over. I think he was fixing to shed his skin. And with those eyes, you know, they start at their nose and go back, and I think he was basically pretty much blinded, really couldn't see me, and was just kind of up there hanging out, waiting to shed his skin. So thankful he didn't bite me. So that's going to wrap it up for me today. Successful day, even though it rained. I got a little bit done. Rain days, I hate rain days because I don't do nothing well. I can't stand sitting in the house and not accomplishing anything. So I'm glad I got out here, got those piles to burning before the rain started, and now they can probably smolder for days. So anyways, guys, remember, do something today to make somebody smile, because you never know, it just might change the world. Guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. You guys have a great day, and as always, we'll see you on the next video.